More than 16 centuries after his death, St. Augustine continues to call pilgrims to his tomb, even pontiffs. For Pope Leo XIV, visiting Pavia, St. Augustine's resting place in northern Italy, was more than a personal pilgrimage. It was a journey to the spiritual roots that have shaped his life and ministry as the first Augustinian pope, and to the wisdom the saint's life continues to offer the Church.
The
figure of St. Augustine shines with a precious light. His thought, the story of his conversion, and his spirituality remind us of the value and primacy of the interior life. Do not go outside yourself. Return within yourself. Truth dwells in the inner man.
La verità abita nell'uomo interiore.
The remains of St. Augustine have rested in Pavia since 723 AD, when they were transferred here at the behest of the Lombard king Liutprand. They're housed in the imposing and historic Basilica of San Pietro in Ciel d'Oro, the Basilica of St. Peter in the Golden Sky in English. Towering above the relics is the spectacular Ark of St. Augustine, a 14th century funerary monument carved from white Carrara marble and considered one of the finest masterpieces of Gothic sculpture. At the top, relief panels illustrate important moments from Augustine's life, including one of the most significant, his conversion.
In preda all'angoscia, aveva tutti I beni materiali.
Consumed by anguish, he had every material possession imaginable, yet he was not happy. God calls him through a very simple song, a child's little rhyme saying, Tolle legge, take and read, take and read. He had with him the book of the letters of St. Paul, and he interpreted that chant as a call from God addressed personally to him. He opened the book of St. Paul's letters at random, and the very verse that pierced his heart appeared before him. Not in lust, not in the pleasures of the flesh will you find your happiness, but rather in putting on the Lord Jesus Christ.
Rivestirvi del Signore vostro Gesù Cristo.
Among the other panels are scenes of Augustine listening to the sermons of St. Ambrose in the Cathedral of Milan, unable to find any errors in his teaching, his eventual baptism by St. Ambrose, and the presentation of his rule to his followers.
Troviamo al centro, nel riquadro centrale,
in the center, in the central panel, we find Augustine presenting his rule of life, the rule of St. Augustine, to his monks, to us, to all of us, friars, monks, sisters, and lay people. He offers this rule of life so that we may live the gospel with unity of purpose, in a communion of mutual love for one another, and be able to share this inner richness with all those who await the gift and the light of truth.
Che aspettano il dono e la luce della verità.
Below these scenes, at the center of the monument, lies a marble statue of St. Augustine, supported by 6 deacons, a work realized according to the vision of the local prior at that time.
E sul basamento devono esserci.
It was to rest on a base featuring the 12 apostles, each holding a scroll bearing a portion of the Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed. The statues projecting from the base were meant to represent the virtues that St. Augustine embodied throughout his life: obedience, chastity, humility, justice, temperance, in short, all the virtues that Augustine lived out and exemplified.
Le virtù che in fondo Agostino ha vissuto.
Beyond the ark, artworks throughout the church, including mosaics in the floor, bring to life St. Augustine's ministry as Bishop of Hippo.
Questo è un pezzo del pavimento.
This mosaic is a section of the floor of the Basilica Pacis in Algeria, the basilica that was brought to life by the preaching and example of St. Augustine. It was his cathedral in Hippo, and this is a gift from the Algerians at the end of the 1800s, to remember his feat, his mission, the evangelization that Augustine carried out not only in his diocese, but throughout the entire world for the universal church.
Alla Chiesa universale.
St. Augustine's life and thought were marked by the search for truth and a deep desire for peace, themes that also stood out during Pope Leo's second apostolic trip to Africa, during which he made it a point of beginning his journey in Algeria, the land of St. Augustine.
E infatti sono molto contento
I am very happy to visit again the land of St. Augustine, who also offers a very important bridge in interreligious dialogue. It is truly a blessing for me personally, but also, I believe, for the Church and for the world, because we must always seek bridges to build peace and reconciliation.
la pace e la riconciliazione.
Upon landing in Algeria, Pope Leo became the first pontiff ever to visit the country, to the great joy of the Algerian people.
Actualmente, el lugar de nacimiento y de estudios de San Agustín.
Today, the birthplace and place of study of St. Augustine are in Algeria. He also established his episcopal seat there. So for Algerians, even though the vast majority of them are Muslim, St. Augustine is considered an Algerian. As a result, the connection with him, at least on a cultural or symbolic level, is very deep. In fact, there was a lot of joy. They were very pleased when the Pope, in his first greeting on May the 8th, introduced himself as a son of St. Augustine.
El 8 de mayo se presentó como hijo de San Agustín.
In Algeria, the Holy Father traveled to Annaba to visit the archaeological site of Hippo, where St. Augustine was bishop for more than 30 years, until his death in 430.
Es el papa de todos, no solamente de los agustinos.
He is the Pope of everyone, and not just of the Augustinians. But for us, it is certainly also very important, and it's a reason for pride and satisfaction to know that the Holy Father, the current Pope, shares with us that spirituality of St. Augustine. That way of seeing the world, and also of understanding the Church through the spirituality, theology, and pastoral vision of St. Augustine.
De la espiritualidad y de la teología y de la pastoral de San Agustín.